Bombardier Global 8000. The time machine with a pulse. Teaser. There's a number inside the Global 8000 that matters more to how you feel at the curb than any headline speed or range figure. It's not in the brochure's bold type, but it is the reason owners rewire their schedules around this jet. I'll reveal it at the end and show how it turns a 14-hour sector into a day you can still use. When speed stops feeling violent. Welcome to Luxury Living Detective. Today we're stepping into the Bombardier Global 8000, a jet designed to do something business aviation rarely nails: move very fast without punishing the people on board. Think Mach 0.90 class cruise as a routine choice, Mach 0.92 as a real tool, a top end nudging the speed limit of subsonic flight, and a cabin engineered so quietly and cleanly that you forget you're crossing an ocean. The promise isn't just farther or faster, it's arriving ready, and that changes everything. Overview. What it is in one breath. The Global 8000 is Bombardier's ultra-long-range flagship, a clean-sheet airframe paired with GE Passport engines, an advanced smooth flex wing, and a cabin laid out as 4 true living spaces with a separate crew suite. On paper, you're looking at 8,000 nautical miles of reach at long-range cruise, ultra-high-speed cruise at Mach 0.92, and a maximum operating Mach of 0.94, the fastest in business aviation. Maximum altitude is 51,000 feet, with an initial cruise typically in the low 40s even at heavy weights. In practice, that unlocks city pairs like Dubai-Houston, Singapore-Los Angeles, and London-Perth as practical single hops, while keeping the cabin experience gentle and human. The design you can feel. Smooth flex wing plus passport power. At the heart of the 8000 is the smooth flex wing, which behaves like 2 wings in one. High lift, low speed manners for short runway agility, and an efficient high-speed shape that carries Mach 0.90 to 0.92 without feeling breathless. The engines bring the authority. Each GE Passport produces 18,920 pounds of thrust, flat-rated for hot and high confidence. The net effect is tactical flexibility for dispatchers. Hold 0.92 westbound to beat weather or curfews, then drop to 0.85 when you want to stretch reserves and fly green. Performance in the real world. Mission math, not hype. Numbers only matter if they change outcomes. The 8,000 nautical mile figure means New York to Johannesburg, Los Angeles to Sydney, or Paris to Santiago becomes planning, not wishful thinking. Ultra-high-speed cruise at Mach 0.92 is more than a party trick. It's a lever that buys back hours on long days, and Bombardier calls out 4,200 nautical miles as a realistic range figure at that pace. Airfield performance is equally grown up. A takeoff distance around 5,760 feet at maximum weight on a standard day, and a typical landing distance near 2,220 feet mean you can use business aviation-friendly runways without white-knuckle margins. The service ceiling at 51,000 feet gets you above most chop and weather, keeping rides smooth and speeds consistent. Cabin, a penthouse that actually travels. Step inside and the 8000 stops feeling like a machine and starts feeling like a home. The cross-section gives you 6 feet 2 of headroom and 8 feet of width. Proportions read residential rather than tube with seats. The layout flows like a townhouse. Club suite up front for takeoff chats and quick work. A conference dining suite that flips between boardroom and linen service meals, an entertainment suite with a real acoustic sweet spot, and a principal suite in the back with a full-size bed, proper storage, and an ensuite with an optional stand-up shower. The Ultragalley Forward isn't airplane cute. It's a professional hospitality space with dual ovens, real counter length, chilled storage, and smart routing so plates land hot. Light, air, and silence, the wellness engine. This is where the Global 8000 gets persuasive. Cabin altitude is held dramatically low for the category. Think small-town elevation even when you're cruising above 41,000 feet. Air is 100% fresh, pushed through hospital-grade HEPA filtration with an activated carbon stage to strip odors and VOCs, and replaced at a pace that actually feels lively, not stale. Soleil lighting ties into the flight management system to run dynamic daylight cycles that cue your circadian rhythm. And Lopera seat-centric audio turns movie nights into something that doesn't sound thin and metallic. The Nuage seating architecture goes fully zero gravity, taking pressure off the lower back over long hauls. Stack those elements together, and you get the sensation regulars talk about with almost evangelical zeal. You land clear-headed. Cockpit and crew. Calm power up front. Pilots get the Bombardier Vision flight deck. 4 large displays, advanced fly-by-wire, side-stick controls, HUD with enhanced and synthetic vision, graphical flight planning, modern PBN, LPV, RNPAR, and weather radar with wind shear detection. Translation: fewer surprises, better airport access in marginal conditions, and workflows that keep crews ahead of the airplane rather than chasing it. Add a spacious cockpit and crew rest, and you get a machine crews stay fresh in, flight after flight. An underrated form of luxury for owners who care about consistency. Day in the life, a continuous thread. Picture an evening departure from Teterboro. You're climbing through the low 40s within minutes, the cabin dropping into a calm, residential hush. A proper dinner at a real table, a high-bandwidth video call that doesn't shred the Wi-Fi, and then the aft suite. The door slides, the lighting warms, and the low cabin altitude does its quiet work. You actually sleep. Hours later, you shower. Espresso lands right. The notes you made before bed still make sense, and you're stepping down the air stair into morning light across the Pacific. That's not romance. It's the everyday miracle the 8000 is built to deliver. Key features, explained like an owner. The 8000's 4 equal-length living spaces keep work and rest honest. You don't eat in a hallway or sleep next to a galley. Unrestricted access to the baggage compartment means the bag you suddenly need isn't a ground-handling problem. K-band internet makes the airplane an extension of your office. A 55-inch 4K display turns the entertainment suite into a credible screening room. The Nuage architecture is the first new seat design in 30 years with a true zero-gravity position. Pair that with the Soleil system, and the quiet is almost eerie. You hear human voices, not cabin roar. Key specifications. The numbers, in plain English. Long-range cruise at Mach 0.85 produces the big 8,000 nautical mile legs. When schedule rules, Mach 0.92 becomes a real cruise setting with an approximately 4,200 nautical mile envelope. Top speed, Mach 0.94, fastest in business aviation. Takeoff approximately 5,760 feet. Landing approximately 2,220 feet. Max operating altitude, 51,000 feet. Initial cruise approximately 43,000 feet at MTOW. Up to 19 passengers in cabin layouts. Cabin height approximately 6 feet 2 inches. Width approximately 8 feet 0 inches. Cabin length approximately 54 feet 5 inches measured from cockpit divider to aftmost cabin section. Engines. GE Passport at 18,920 pounds force each. flat-rated for thermal margin. All of that translates to a jet that sprints when you need it to, stretches when you want it to, and lands where business aviation actually lives. Program status: what's new and why it matters. The Global 8000 has moved through final assembly, with headline supersonic test pedigree behind it. Bombardier pushed a development aircraft past Mach 1.0 under chase, validating the high-Mach envelope used for the 8000's top speed claims. The dedicated Passport engine variant has secured key regulatory approvals, clearing a major gate toward entry into service. That's not just marketing news. It's a signal to flight departments and financiers that timelines, training, and provisioning can now be planned with real confidence. Comparisons: G700, Global 7500, Falcon 10 each. Against Gulfstream's G700, the Global 8000 leans into higher top Mach and the ultra-high-speed cruise niche, while G700 answers with a sumptuous 5-zone cabin and a proven high-Mach routine. Against Bombardier's own Global 7500, the 8000 adds speed overhead and extra reach, and introduces wellness upgrades and program refinements that make the range and quiet usable more of the time. Dassault's Falcon 10X promises a massive cross-section and ambitious systems. The 8000's counter is simple: the fast lane plus a cabin that keeps people human at speed. If your day has hard time edges, the 8000's balance of velocity plus physiology is uniquely persuasive. Money, acquisition, hourly reality, charter signals. Sticker guidance for a well-specified Global 8000 tracks in the upper $70 million neighborhood, with interior ambitions and options pushing higher. Direct operating costs will land in the upper thousands per flight hour, while total hourly, once you add crew, training, insurance, hangar and capital, tracks with the ultra-long-range class. Charter availability will be limited early on, and pricing is expected to sit top of market, broadly in line with the Global 7500/G700 peer set in the mid to high teens per flight hour in the U.S. The ROI case isn't about resale one-liners, it's about time returned, access, and clarity at arrival, the currencies that justify jets at this level. Sustainability. Progress with adult honesty. No private jet becomes a bicycle, but the 8000 pulls real levers: an efficient high-Mach wing that spends less time doing the same work, a modern engine core, compatibility with sustainable aviation fuel, and better access that reduces repositioning. Quiet cabin, less fatigue, and smarter routing aren't just comfort metrics, they're efficiency metrics that flight departments can actually log. My take. Why this jet feels different. Plenty of jets impress. Very few persuade. The Global 8000 persuades because it removes friction. From the ride, from the air you breathe, from the way light lands on faces after midnight. It's fast in a way that doesn't feel violent. It's quiet in a way that doesn't feel dead. It's big in a way that still feels designed, not just sized. If luxury is how you feel when the door opens, this is the new benchmark. Help us build the next investigation. If this deep dive sharpened your view of the Global 8000, please like. That single tap tells the algorithm to show this to more luxury aviation fans. Comment what you'd use first: the aft suite with shower, the Ultragalley and plated service, or Mach 0.92 on a hard-edge schedule. Subscribe and toggle notifications so you never miss the next yacht or jet tour. Want early drops and behind the scenes? Tap Join to become a member. If this research saved you time, a super thanks directly fuels our next flight test and cabin shoot. And don't forget to leave a free hype score. Type HYPE in the comments to push this video higher and suggested at zero cost. The reveal. At the start, I promised the number that owners quietly schedule their lives around. It's the cabin altitude, held near 2,900 feet at typical high cruise. Pair that with genuinely fresh, filtered air and circadian lighting tied to your flight plan. And the 8,000 does the one thing speed alone can't. It protects your mind. You don't just arrive quickly, you arrive clear. That's the luxury that justifies the airplane.